Hello and welcome to a new live stream here from our car truck studio in Essen in Germany. We have Monday after the Black Friday, Cyber Monday for some. We luckily did not do that, otherwise we would have... It was a great success the last week. Thank you so much for all your help and for all your orders, but it was very overwhelming. Thank you so much, and I think we offered you great discounts, a great deal, and now it's time for us to send them all out, being ready to ship quickly, etc. So yeah, that's now our part we are doing, but I have to say that because of the high amount of orders, we will need some days to fulfill all the orders, especially as our old invoicing system is not working together with the shop software that we have, that is also very old, and therefore every single order has to be put into an invoice. Then we have to go through the ordering process so that they can either be shipped out from our European warehouse, German warehouse, or from our American warehouse, and all these are different steps, and it makes it really time consuming to go through all the orders. And as the number was very high, I tell you, if you are not yet hearing anything from us, please be patient. You will get an email, you will get your order. It just takes a few days until we can be able to work through all the orders. It's just what it is. Sorry for that. I'm 100% sure that you will get your products or your order before Christmas. That's very important. And we have our warehouse in the USA, in California, and I hope that all the stock is there. If not, we are shipping from time to time items over. We already heard that the challenge items are out of stock there within just one weekend, and we are expecting new shipments. One is stuck in Barcelona. It was shipped out a couple of days ago from Mario. The next one will go tomorrow from Mario over to us, and from here then to America, or part of it, so that we will be able to ship in the next few days. It just takes a few more days. Thank you for your patience. You can certainly ask us, where are we standing? However, we always have to then stop working on the orders in the time order, first come, first serve, how it should be. And therefore, if you just let us work, perfect. Otherwise, I'm here in the warehouse spraying cards, preparing, gluing, cutting, doing whatever. We have someone else who is now helping us. She's doing a great job within one day. I'm super happy with everything he does. Oh, and there you go, Mark. Here's the next thing. Thank you so much to remind me on this one. The memory gears clip. Damn. I'll put it right here on the list, okay? So that I will not forget when I go home to ask. Because yes, I'm missing those as well. I'm 100%. This should be an item that always should be in our warehouse. What do you think? I think the memory gears clip is something totally underrated and a fantastic tool to work with. Memory gears card clip. Very good. I will ask him, as I'm expecting other items to arrive as well. Yeah, I should be able to get them pretty quick. Maybe with other items from Taiwan that would be possible. Give me 1 second. I think I have to mute you for a millisecond here. Sorry. Winter is coming, not that easy. My voice is a little bit shut, and I have problems with my nose, but it's definitely not the C thing, the C problem. Anyhow, so we are on, we are there. How about this? I showed you last week for the very first time a new release of Mario Lopez, what is called the Challenge. And it's a fantastic, fantastic coin effect. And after the trailer that I'm showing you, I will answer several questions that I got in the past few days, because some thought we would only provide a digital download or whatsoever, and you would have to provide the rest. Way more. Here we go, here comes the trailer.
What?
That was great. I was trying to contain myself.
He was holding the light here and he was shaking.
Yeah, I was just...
Ah, that's amazing.
Okay.
Whoa.
Put the hand.
Que Mario López, que es mío.
So it is an amazing effect, and I can tell you that the father of Mario is not a magician. So what he's doing there is the skill level of a newbie removing or putting the coin onto the cord or on the ribbon. It's fascinating. It's really fascinating, and I can tell you, you are receiving a 1-hour instruction video online, as well as the coins to do a single coin routine or a 3-coin routine. It's all included, and certainly a specific gimmick, because there is a gimmick involved, so that you can perform all the moves, all the ideas of Mario that he implemented there. It's definitely worth it. So it's not the Chinese Charming Challenge, but the challenge of Mario Lopez, what will remind many people about the other one. However, everybody who knows the principle of the Chinese Charming Challenge will be very surprised that this is not how it works, and what is really, really, really cool. So yes, that is the challenge. We are waiting for new items to arrive here, as we already have back orders. I know Mario is sending them out. The next batch is going out tomorrow. The other batch that he sent over last week is at the moment stuck in Barcelona. I hope that I will get an update very, very soon, because I'm tracking it every minute here on my phone. And so that we will be able to ship it out tomorrow, the day after, again to all the other ones who are still waiting. Yeah. But nevertheless, there's also a batch arriving right now in our warehouse in the USA to ship out the first orders there. I already heard that the amount that we shipped over is not sufficient, and we are already starting having back orders. The same with Perro Verde, what is an awesome effect, also from Mario Lopez. We have enough here in stock in Germany, so all the orders from Europe are easy to serve, but the ones from the USA, we will be able to provide it within the next few days, as we are shipping more stock over in the next 1 or 2 days. I guess in 2 days, definitely, when the new challenges are here. And yeah, because they are produced and released by Mario himself, it's not a Cartrack product, but we are allowed to sell it. And I think it's a wonderful effect, and thank you so much to Mario having this trust with us to be able to sell it there. Can it be that I missed the chat window? Here we go. Yes. Oh, okay. Here's a feedback from Frank, who is working on come on, what's going on here? Who is combining the charming Chinese challenge together with the challenge itself. That is interesting. And here's maybe an interesting point. In the next 1, 2, 3 weeks, we will, as we then have more and more magicians having the brand new challenge of Mario Lopez in their hands, and that can then practice the moves and all this. We would like to maybe do a video competition showing the best effects or the best handling that you came up with the challenge, because it's always nice not doing one-to-one the exact same moves and handlings of the inventor, but coming up with your own moves, with your own routine, etc. And I think that might be something very interesting to show when other magicians are playing with a great new tool that so far did not exist. So we will see in the next few weeks. You will hear something about it, and also on the social media platforms we will do all this. Who is calling me right now? No, I cannot. So here we go. It's sound. Sorry, I'm with you and not answering any other phone call. So here we go. Now let's talk about the Phoenix decks, where we are staying, where they are manufactured, if you already have Phoenix decks, in which version you have them, why they exist in so many different variations seemingly, and that it's not that overwhelming once you have understood what we are offering. First of all, coming from bicycle world, from the bicycle universe, you would have used those decks, the bicycle decks, in red or blue bags, because that's a basic standard, and that's what most magicians are using. And so far, what I can experience, about 80% of all magicians are preferring the red bags and not the blue bags. It's a little bit, I have not yet figured out why that is. I guess it is because the red ones give you also the opportunity of signing the cards on the backs. Other colors are not chosen too much because those are fancy colors. They would be nice, certainly. However, usually a different color means a different production run, also means a smaller production run, and therefore a higher price per deck. And if you want to do constant work with a specific deck, then you don't want to switch back and forth with different colors, etc. I know some magicians who have their own CI, like Paul Green in a green dress and everything. He certainly only uses the green decks, and I supplied him with green Phoenix decks. We have other colors like Fritz Alkemade, the Fritz with a Z from Amsterdam. He is a Dutch guy, therefore he loves the Dutch colors, the orange decks. And earlier on it was that Oscar Munoz or Sean Farquhar preferred the purple colors of the Phoenix. All this is possible. Then you certainly have to think about, how do gimmicks fit inside? Are these gimmicks at all available in a different color? Is it possible or not? Now, first of all, when I started the Phoenix deck in 2009, I went to US Playing Card Company, because sooner or later I wanted to be Chico de Costa. Oh my God, you're in Las Vegas. I'm so jealous right now. That's amazing. It should be early in the morning, right? So very cool. Thank you for joining us here, and greetings to all my friends in Las Vegas. So Yeah, the first production run that I did was in 2009. I think in November I started all this, and unfortunately that was exactly the time when. Let me do this. Oh, I did not. Oh my God! I forgot to turn this into English language. So here you learn now 2 words in in German language. That means quality level and producer. Hersteller is producer, because when I produced the first Phoenix decks, they were made at US Playing Card Company. I was still a newbie, and I certainly wanted to do a specific quantity so that I could start with everything. And when I started, I did 5 decks at the same time. It was the standard index in red and blue, the marked decks in red and blue. Was it even more? My God. Oh, maybe it was only the red mark deck, exactly. Then we had the SUM deck, that's it. Yes, the SUM deck, setup mark deck from Martin Lewis. And the GAF deck. That was our start. Red and blue standard, the mark deck in red, the SUM deck in red, and the GAF decks. Now, when they arrived, I was very excited. It almost busted my budget. I put all my savings, etc., in there, and had a big trust that this would now be the big release of the Phoenix cards in the world. I certainly promoted them like this, and at the Blackpool Magic convention in 2010, that was the February afterwards, exactly. So when I received the decks, they were beautiful. They fanned nicely, even were more slippery than the normal bicycle decks that you would know. But what I didn't know, that they would then turn into clunks, some brick that does not move anymore, that the finish would be more and more sticky. That is something that I was not aware of when I sold the decks. So the early adopters were struck twice. Not only that they were paying for these decks, giving me their trust, but also then receiving a crappy quality, and I was not able to provide them with a better quality at that time. So what could I do? First of all, I stopped the sales once I knew. And then I did a reprint immediately, finding out that this quality issue that USPC had at that time was because of the fresh movement over from Cincinnati, Ohio to Erlanger, Kentucky. And that it was one printing press, the smaller one, that had this issue. I spoke with Richard Turner. And so the larger printing press that usually only prints playing card runs of 25,000 and more decks, I had to do, otherwise I would have stuck with the old quality. That was the big problem. They did not confess, they did not accept that this was a big problem. So I was sitting on crappy paper that I could not sell, that I didn't want to sell, and I had to reinvest money into larger quantities that I didn't want to print at that time. But that was the only version to do it. And that's the second issue then, was the first Phoenix deck that was really working. If I would now tell you that even then the printing or the cutting was a big communication error, well, I have my stories. Anyhow, the Phoenix deck has seen several variations, several levels. It had this Phoenix bird at the beginning, that is the Joker, as the mascot on the face. That was here the full tilt deck, but here you can see the bird in the front. And later we replaced the bird because I wasn't sure if the Phoenix bird would survive on the Jokers or if I would do a more fancy mascot, but so far I really like it. And so the next version was then that I changed the boxes to the one that you might know. What means here we have the Phoenix Aces in the front, and the Phoenix logo in black and red, etc. And yeah, I was designing the casino quality or the COVID-19 quality, whatever, depending on where I would produce these cards. Now, usually I would do everything at USPC, meaning the US Playing Card Company. They were so far good, did a good job. We're not the fastest, definitely not, unfortunately. So a normal print run would be, I would send over data, all the files. At the beginning they were even retouching my artwork and made changes that they didn't tell me. So I got so nasty and so angry that the deal was that from now on I would be responsible for every error that would be included, because I placed certain errors on purpose into the backs or into the faces, etc. Like the one-way design on the faces is all on purpose, and they try to fix that. Anyhow, so the deal was, I know what I'm doing, and when I'm supplying certain files, print them. If you then still see that there's a problem, let me know and I will fix it, but you will not retouch anything of my artwork. We agreed on this. This works so far good. Now, in November last year, I placed the last order there at USPC, and because I was expecting a delay of 2 or 3 months before I would get my decks, I was not really pushing anywhere because I was expecting to see the data maybe in February, etc., because the pre-press is always very busy. And when I called late February, beginning of March, what happened with my files, I got the message, we have a legal issue here. We are not able to print your cards anymore. After 12 years of cooperation, USPC was refusing printing my Phoenix decks, seemingly because the Phoenix decks would be too similar to Bicycle. So for all the guys who think that Phoenix is too different to Bicycle, USPC is confirming that you are wrong. Let that sink in. Anyhow, yeah, that was the issue back then in March, and from there on I had to find solutions what to do next. If I would change, if I would adapt, if I would follow their wishes to change my Ace of Spades, my back design, the card case, etc., or if I would just go to another printer and move on and away from USPC. I thought that somewhere in the middle is the best possibility for us to still work with USPC in the quality you are used to when you're in the USA, but also having alternatives in a way that it would free up some limitations, I would say, where we would not be able to produce them the speed I could get much faster print runs, etc., somewhere else. And that's when we produced our very first deck called the COVID-19 edition. That was when I really needed the cards very quickly. It was right after last year's Black Friday when we sold out of the regular decks so quickly that we needed new decks, and I was still waiting for the cards from USPC to be produced. So I went to my friend in Taiwan who was printing several decks for me already, and he did a really good run. First of all, I'm using playing card stock that is coming from Germany. I'm using this kind of material already since the beginning of Card Shark, because there is a linen structure paper that is very similar to the one of USPC, and I use this on my Gypsy decks, on my medieval decks, on my heirloom cards, on all sorts of different decks, but the finish is making the cards totally good or bad. So the European finish is unfortunately something that is not really allowing to fan the cards very well, but it's what is possible. Okay, not talking about Cartamundi, just the other ones. The quality that you would get with the finish would not allow to make a nice spread. So forget this. I did not want to produce the cards anymore with them. However, the Taiwanese really provided a great quality with the paper, but they had a special finish at that time that was great, but not as close to Bicycle as I hoped to be. So the cards that I got back then in the COVID quality, is it this one? Did I open up already one? Let me see. Oh yeah. Huh. Okay, I did not open this one here. That is this one here from that time. And it did not only have the year written on it, but it said FU 2020. That was that one. Now these cards were the same stock like the other cards. It had 56 cards included. However, let's go here. However, the finish was kind of, how would I say this? They feel great. The paper quality is great. However, if you're used to USPC, you might have felt something soapy. Kind of soapy, as the cards were spreading in a different way you were used to. Still good, but different. And something, when you're getting your hands used to something, then you are expecting the same quality. Okay, so far so good. But that was the COVID-19 edition. I really liked it. Paper was great, printing was great. But then, when I now had to find a solution for the new decks of Phoenix outside of US Playing Card Company because of the legal problems they gave me, I found a solution with these cards that are just freshly out here. And they now, the same paper, they have now a great finish coming from the USA. And this finish is just the best you might ever see. And it's not saying like the weaker solution for the USPC, but I think that is at least at the same height, if not higher than USPC quality, what I really, really, really like. And the best thing about this is, if you have noticed in the past few years, oh, by the way, I'm seeing here, could you please do me a favor, and if you like all this, what we are doing here, then please leave a like, click the subscribe button and ring the bell so that you would be notified the next time when we are going online every Monday. Now, what I wanted to say is that the cards here have a different kind of glue. The cards at USPC have glue that is water soluble. Means that if you have sweaty hands, or you just touched a beer glass and have moisture on your hands, etc., and then touch a deck of cards without knowing, you're ruining all the edges around your deck of cards and they turn black very, very quickly. Therefore, this deck might not survive one evening, or not the time you were used to use on your cards. Now, the card stock that is coming from Germany, this is glue that is not water soluble. Therefore, you can, for card in mouth, etc., or a card in a beer bottle, etc., this is great. You can even, I left it in a puddle on the table or under the sink for a few seconds. Yes, it turns wet. Yes, you can wipe it off. It would be grayish on the edges, but after an hour it dries out and you would not even see the damage that the card had. They turn back into normal. That is really, really great. Sean Farquhar is using the same cards, the same production there, and he says that his cards earlier on, USPC cards, were surviving less than a week, and these cards are good for a month or so. So for durability and price, and the material you are getting for that amount is just unbeatable, really unbeatable. So I really highly recommend. Oh yes, the FISM cards had a nice feel. They are exactly the ones. The FISM cards were printed on this stock from that company. Now, talking about the next thing is the index. Let me do this. With bicycle cards, you are used to the small index. Yes, and the small index is what I would have called the standard so far. It's this one here. We are all familiar with that. That's what you get when you have a bicycle deck, for instance, or the regular Phoenix decks when I started. And about 6 years ago, I started something new, and I called it the large index. The large index is something that is not a jumbo index, and that's the big problem, that many people believe that large would mean jumbo. And I hate jumbo myself, it's unusable. However, the large index is something, when you compare it, let me do this a little bit lower here. So standard and large, Now when you compare just the black cards here between an 8 in the small version or the 8 on this one here, on a camera it already looks much better. Imagine how this looks if you're doing it at a table for 10 or 15 people. It's just more visible without looking awkward. If you're looking at it, look at this. There's no difference between these two cards. However, the index is 50% bigger and gives a much better visual to a spectator who has to now remember this card. And Boris Wild, who is only using the larger index right now, is saying that since he's doing this, the spectators are not forgetting the card they chose anymore. What is a really cool feature, and it's coming from the mouth of a FISM champion, right? With the picture cards the same, there's no big difference between a large or a small king, but certainly you can immediately see that this is the king of clubs, while this one now you would have to think, okay, that must be a king, or it's at least a male, might have a crown, whatsoever. It's not that visible, and the difference is huge when you're starting working with them. Now, calling them always large index was kind of a problem. So I decided in the future we will move over slowly but steadily from calling them the large index to the Phoenix index, because I think this is what the standard should be. All the magicians who gave the large index, the Phoenix index, a chance moved over. They are so happy with that size. Johnny Thompson told me once when we saw us at the Magic Live that this was one of the coolest inventions he has seen. It was such an advance in card magic, and therefore I'm really happy getting this feedback from this master. And so we are calling them now from now on the Phoenix index without giving it a size name. It's just the Phoenix index, what we are using as a standard on our Phoenix cards. The old one will then be called the classic index, like a classic car. We are calling them old timers, but in America I think they are called classic cars, or I don't even know. Yeah, that would be the old one, the old style that you are familiar with. However, I think once you start using the Phoenix index, you don't want to go back. The cool thing is that you can even mix the smaller and the bigger ones in one deck. A friend of mine who is always using the larger index now, the Phoenix index, he had a gimmick in the regular size indexes already. I don't know which trick it was, but he wanted to use this gimmick card in his deck, and he just put it inside, and nobody of his spectators even realized that there was a different size of index in the cards. So you can go back and forth. Spectators would not notice it, and so the transition time that you are giving, that you are using when you are going more and more into the Phoenix index, is something you should not fear. A change is possible. So there's a question of Robert: will the new Phoenix decks be available from specific UK dealers? I hope. If not, ask them. I mean, there's Alakazam, there is Prop Dog, etc. We are working with them. Ask them, and they should have them in stock. So here's the thing: what I did to avoid the marmalade problem. The marmalade problem, for all the guys who are not familiar with marketing problems, when you are, let's say you're in a supermarket, you want to buy a specific kind of marmalade, you're standing in front of the shelf, you see a handful of different flavors like strawberry and plum and orange and cherry, etc. And it's a very easy task now to select the flavor you like most, like the strawberries, etc. You take it, you go, you have your favorite marmalade. But if you are in front of a shelf that has 10 different brands and strawberries with a fruit component of 55% and sugar-free and full fruits and vanilla flavor on stock and plus, then you are so overwhelmed that you finally end up with buying maybe, I don't know, honey, because you cannot make up your mind which strawberry marmalade you want. Therefore, when I had to make the decision, would I continue printing with USB-C? Would I just use the Taiwanese quality, or do I continue doing everything with USB-C even if they really gave me such a hard time during this year? I thought, okay, I'll make it easy for all the guys who are trusting me, trusting my suggestions, going to the larger Phoenix Index. Those are also getting the new quality on paper. So the Phoenix Index cards will be produced in Taiwan, and from now on all the Phoenix Index, the larger index cards, should be produced there. And I keep the standard index or the classic index cards so far at USB-C. They will produce those cards, and both are right now done. The Taiwanese quality is already here in stock. They are also in stock in our US warehouse, in the German warehouse, and the USB-C quality, we are right now sold out. We are expecting the new delivery in the next few days. I know they are printed, they are done at USB-C. They now have to come by air from America to Germany. So give us maybe 1 week or 10 days until we have them here, and we are able to ship these cards out as well. So there are some back orders, unfortunately, that we cannot fulfill immediately, but you will soon hear from us. By the way, we also certainly ship to our UK customers. You can certainly order from our website. Yes, you will now, from now on, thanks to Brexit, you will see dollar prices, because the dollar prices don't contain VAT. It would be unfair to charge you VAT and then there's customs coming on top. You certainly can ask specific questions to reduce whatever, you know what I mean. We are open to that. We are all magicians and help each other, right? So I can highly recommend this. You can get them, if you go to our website, you can get the large index or the Phoenix Index quality. It will be the new quality in red and in blue. We have it here. Now let me show you what had to change on these new cards. USB-C asked me not to use the Phoenix Index anymore, even if I developed it together with them in 2009. Let me see, I think this is, yes, this is the old Phoenix Index that you are familiar with. It's called the Classic Edition already here, but that was because it was, I think it's the one coming, I don't know. Finest poker playing cards, that's Taiwan quality, and you see the design with the big ace, the stars around the upper half, the stripes on the bottom, and the phoenix in the inside. They didn't want this anymore, and therefore our new Phoenix Index will be this one here. Wow, big change, really. So what is it? No more stars, no more stripes. And the inner part, the Phoenix, is now more present, is a little bit bigger, and therefore that's our Ace of Spades from now on. If you don't know it, that is that is what our Phoenix decks from now on will look like. The back design did not have to change, nothing special there. It's still the same as always since 2009, how I designed it, and ready to go. Now the card cases is another thing. And this is the design you're familiar with for so long. Let me show this to you. Again, the Ace of Spades. You would have the banner here with either casino quality, classic edition, whatsoever, giving you a specific information.